Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the Southman Auto Channel. That's a 2012 GMC Acadia Denali Fancy Pants Edition. Customer complaint is that it's getting hot in here and he doesn't want to take off all his clothes. We have heat coming out the left side, ice cold air out the right side. So what we'll do, because I know sometimes you don't believe me, we're going to fire this pig up. Not warmed up yet. We're gonna I want to start letting it ID here, because I think we're gonna end up looking to see if the jiggly bits here in the middle of the dash are working, and telling it to change to. How come it won't read the VIN? Why are you not hooked up yet? Well, we'll let that do its thing. Let it find the Bluetooth. Let's see. Ambient temperature today is 83.7. We'll come onto the right side of the dash. We'll turn the blower up. Right now I have it set at 60 degrees, so it's lowest setting. AC compressor just kicked on. There she goes. So I'm letting that cool down so we can get an accurate reading here, just for demonstration purposes only. I'll let this thing auto detect itself. So you can see the right side of the dash. You know, we're starting to drop down in the 60s, and it's going down. So now we'll go left side, full left side over here, and maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, but we are starting to go back up. And it is not just lukewarm, we'll call it. It's not just unair conditioned air. Now, why would I mention that? Because sometimes you can have a low charge on a system and you'll have much cooler air on one side than the other. However, you can see as this is starting to rise, it's actually on hot. So dual climate control in this, as you can see down here, you know, we have dual climate control, passenger side, driver side. If we equalize them, you know, run them down as cold as they go, this is where we're at. So that's the symptom. What he's been doing is just shutting these off, but it's been pretty toasty here downtown Avoca. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here. We've read the VIN. I'll get this loaded up. We'll see if there's any codes in the HVAC module. Let me show this. I don't want that blowing. Sometimes that blows on the, you know, the thing that I talk into, the microphone, and it gets all screwed up, and I don't know it until I go to edit the video. I'm like, oh, this video sucks. Diagnose control unit. I got a sneeze coming, folks. Hold it in, because I don't want to blow the Rona all over the masks. Let's see. We want, is there any heating control? Rear HVAC. HVAC control module right there. So we're going to go to that. First we'll check it for codes. Wow, it does get hot in here pretty quick. Oh, there we go. Temperature control 1 feedback circuit open. Temperature 1 control feedback short to battery or open. So I'm assuming, whoops, so hopefully you can see those temperature controls. I'm assuming that is the driver's side. B0413-05. So now what we'll do is we'll go into live data, HVAC door positions perhaps, and we'll see if we can see the doors and see what's happening, and then we'll check the code set criteria for that code. Let me scroll through here. Left temperature door actual, and then there should be a right temperature door actual. Left temperature door command, right temperature door command, right temperature door actual. So that's the data stream I'm seeing. So let's move. I gotta move you guys so I can see everything too. There, now everybody can see. So I'm gonna move the right all the way to full hot. Let's just see what happens here. Moving it to full hot, and we're at full hot. Nothing's changing. Okay, there we go. We'll turn the blower motor on. Oh, never mind. I have to do it again. So right temperature door, I'm going full hot, and there we go. Now the count changed, so we can see the actual versus the command is actually starting to change. So let me put it back somewhere here in the middle. I'll put it at like 76 degrees. And we can see it changes As I decrease, the count goes up, so we're at 68 degrees F. And then we'll go all the way back to 60 degrees F. And we can see the counts change. Left side, let me just run this up. I see it's stuck at 0 counts. That may be some kind of default position. Yeah, so nothing's going on here. I ran the driver's side, the left one, all the way up to full hot, and I'm going back to full cold. Not code. All right, so nothing's changing there. Right side seems to function. So, like I say, that may be a default strategy. What I want to do is I'm going to come back in, read the codes, and then we're going to take a picture. We're going to save it. Oops, not like that. No thanks. Got click happy. We're going to save it the old-fashioned way, like this. Save this page, just so there I don't forget the codes, and then we're going to clear them to see if it's, you know, locked in a defaulted heat position. We will reread the codes now that we've cleared them, and then immediately foul. So we know we have a hard fault, so that's something to note. Oftentimes HVAC units, when they fail, they will default to full hot and defrost. Kind of like your old vacuum systems. You lose vacuum, it would always default to defroster. Not necessarily always to hot, because a lot of the old systems that was still cable operated. So let's look up code set criteria for that code and come up with a plan here. So we're going to unplug our OBD2, or the ALDL as they used to say back in the day on your Chevrolets. ALDL was short for your assembly line data link. And then we need to pull down the little hush panel here.
I got the phone.
All right, Miss
And I
Doe.
can hear the door open.
Okay, well I don't know if somebody sneaks in on the side, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, I'm going to paint a little bit.
You gonna pee a little?
Paint?
Oh.
A little bit.
Oh, on the fence.
What did you say?
I thought you said you're gonna go pee a little.
What?
I'm like, that's kind of weird.
What?
Pee.
Oh, go pee on
Yeah.
the fence?
Go pee on the fence. Well, it's not an electric fence. There's that. So we'll take that thing down. Service data says actual versus command doesn't match, and we get this code. We have a 5-wire actionator, as my delivery guy likes to call them, or temperature door actuator. 5 wires, so we have a 3-wire 5-volt sensor, so power ground, or 5 volts ground signal wire, and then we have 2 command wires, count them 2, both resting at 0 volts, and then it can drive the motor in either direction. And supposedly it lives up here, and your Acadias, the Denali editions come with their own trouble light, so that's pretty nice. Let's see if we can find this little guy. What do we got? Oh, there she is. Oh, she's a beauty. Well, let me show you. Let's get our light up in here. I love it when cars come with their own lights. Except they get hot, they burn you. So there's our actuator. The little red tab there, that's our connector. What we're gonna do, for ease of testing, I'm wondering if we could just take it down to test it. Or, I could be a real dirtbag and just plug in the new one we have, because that's probably what's wrong with it. But we won't do that, because I don't want to be a dirtbag. Why do I already have an actuator, you ask? Well, because I assume that's what's wrong with this thing. But we're just going to check real quick our 5 volts. Our yellow wire, now I'm not going to show you, but I'm going to go up there and very gingerly back probe the yellow wire, which should be our ground. I'll see if I can see it. Let's get our light up in here where that stays. Oh, that's handy. That's handy as a 2-pocket t-shirt.
Yeah,
so there. I think I'm in the yellow wire. Okay, that's good. And then our 5-volt reference, according to the OE diagram, is gray. Mr. Gray. Looks like it's way at the bottom. We'll see if we can't get up in there. A little more difficult to get to. Nope, missed the hole, fella. This may be a little easier said than done. There's our gray wire. Survey says, probably ought to have the key on, you ding dong. And it says 4.92 volts, so there's our 5 volts. And our signal wire, what color is that little guy? Let me shut that blower motor off. our signal wire is, bear with me, first day learning the diagram, looking, light blue. So what do I expect to see on that? Well, something between 0 and 5, but not 0 or 5. Light blue. So that's our next wire up, light blue. Light blue. I imagine it's going to be 0 or 5 because it's bad. 3.192. So that's pretty dang interesting. That seems like a plausible number. 3.19. And that is volts, right? It's not millivolts, yeah, so 3.19. So that's pretty interesting. And then if I turn the blower motor on, and I'm going to try to command it, it doesn't move. I'm wondering why, because that seems like a plausible number on the signal side. You know, it's not 0, it's not 5, it doesn't appear to be short, it appears to be somewhere in the middle of its range. I am curious now to know if we go to the command wires, if this will try to command. Which should be the green and the blue wire, I'm assuming. Let me take a look at the diagram here. Light green and dark blue are our command wires. Now I don't know if with an error code, if it will command. So let me try to get this back probed and we'll see if we get a command signal. So I had to start the vehicle and you can see we are getting a command signal now. It's showing negative, 13.5 volts just because of the way I have them hooked up. Because it's probably trying to drive it to the cold position, because that's where I have it turned down. Oh, there it goes. It just quit trying to drive it, so that verifies it. However, I must confess, having the car running and simply coming up here and changing it from hot to cold does nothing. It sits at 0 volts, so this could be a little deceptive. What I attempted to do to check the driver, to make sure the driver was good, is I did an actuator recalibration, so it's going to force it to move. And this is where we started the calibration process, and this is where we saw the voltage come up, or go down rather. So as it's trying to move the actuator, which obviously didn't fix the car obviously, but we were able to check the driver. So evidently when it sets a code for the actuator, evidently it shuts down the driver circuit and just kind of quits trying. Alright, here's our old actuator. We got one from Chevrolet. There's your part number for, I believe all actuators in this car are the same. It's genuine General Motors because it says made in India. And I probed into the signal wire to see where we're at. We're at 1.23 volts. We're going to do an actuator recalibration. We're going to have to start the vehicle, place it in park. It's going to take 40 seconds. Shut this off so we can see over here. Turn on our light, which only lasts a few seconds. We'll hit calibrate, and we should see, as it starts to command it, we should see our value there change. That's going to be our signal wire. Remember, we were stuck at what, 3.1 volts or whatever, so it must be full hot right now, and now it's going down to full cold, so we can see what 3.6 was the max to 1.2. So that is the given range. And then looks like we're going back towards the hot side. Oh, just a couple steps. We're just about done. Well, we're waiting for that. Shout out to Avoca for making this tool. Not a sponsor of the show, of course, but a handy bit of kit, let me tell you what. Their bits are nice, but the thing I like the most is their little bit holder. This thing is fantastic, folks. Fantastic. Use it often. And the good part about it is it's got a handy belt clip, so you can stick it on your belt, and it's good for the people with that on-the-go lifestyle. So let's back out of here. Let's see what we have for codes in there. Survey says history. So we got a couple of history codes. So we're going to take and we're going to clear them out. Yes, and then we will reread them. Reread. No fault codes detected. Now the moment of truth. And the $1,000,000 question is, will it taco? Not really. It's is it cold? And it is. We're 53.2 degrees, or 284 Kelvin for you folks way across the pond, or 11 for you other folks across the pond. Your left vent naturally is not as cold as your center vent temperatures typically. So we'll see here, we're going to get down to probably the upper 40s would be my guess. We take off down the road with it, get some air coming across that condenser. It will be good, or better. But yeah, your furthest out vents typically are the warmest. So 46 or so, and that's just sitting here in 82 degree ambient temperature. So, and then technically, I guess we better make sure it goes to hot, even though we already seen it change. We will just run it up to make sure that there's no problem over there, and there shouldn't be. And we should start seeing an increase in temperature here. Get some blower action. My probe's pretty cold. And you can see our temperature is on the rise. Whoops, I guess I gotta get it all the way up. Never had to say that before. There we go. Yeah, you can see we're on the rise. So we know our actuator is working. So we're gonna run her back to cold. And that's that. Was it overkill? Sure. Do we know for a fact that the part we changed was faulty? Absolutely. Where did we leave off? 25 interruptions during this video. Hopefully it goes together smooth. I think we were talking about whether or not the testing portion of it was overkill. In my mind it's not, because honestly when I'm not making a video, that's a very quick test to determine, do we have our ground, do we have our 5 volts, do we have our signal wire, and do we have command? And if we have command, is it moving? And that's pretty much it. So otherwise you can just take and get an actuator and pop it on. If it doesn't work, well, you got something else wrong. You know, perhaps you want to do it like that, and you'll be right 90% of the time, every time, because that's usually what it is, to the point where guy gave me his symptoms, I just ordered an actuator because I'm pretty sure that's what we were going to find. So that's it. Why don't I go down there and try to find your comment down there in that comment box. Leave your questions, comments, criticism, concern. Find us on the Facebook and the Insta, because where all the cool people hang out. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.